I'd like to call to order the Economic Development Committee special meeting for May 11th, 2022. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call here. Emily.
Present.
Scott Bell.
Present.
Joe Barry. Here. Robert Godoy, maybe a little late. Let's get ball games maybe or something there. But Dave Beasold.
Present.
Myself, present. Kelly.
Present.
Joe.
I'm here.
Present.
Present.
Jason is here, and Mr. Aurelio.
Here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the coming. I know we're kind of doubling up on meetings, but we won't make this too long because our event planner is so organized. She's got everything in line here. So I'm
She is a
thankful
superstar.
for Cindy doing her great work here for the town of St. John. I am pleased to report, and I don't have the total number yet, but we are getting money contributed to our fest, so that is going to be good for the Freedom Fest. So money is coming into the clerk's office, so that's terrific.
If I could speak
Yes,
on
sir.
that. So with respect to that, tonight, we're going to have a study session. Cindy's going to be at that study session as well. One of the items on the agenda is identifying which fund we're going to be receiving money in and paying money out of, because there was no clarity on that when this was set up. So that'll be basically by consensus by the council, which we pretty well have a consensus, but we just want to make sure that that's kind of formally announced at that meeting tonight.
Very good, thank you. It's everything seems to be falling in place. And the membership here has done a great job. Everybody's contributed, so I'm so pleased with. So we do. There's one thing that I have that there has been announcements to out to the residents, and they did not have dates for the Summerfest yet in there yet. So that could get out into the town website.
Yeah, in fact, I have the information sent over to the graphic guy to just throw something together for the water bill inserts too.
Thank you very much. All right. Cindy, if we can, let's start with A on our agenda here. If we can talk about the mapping. I know you went over and you had to reconfigure the setup. So if you could kind of fill us in on that.
Correct. So Bobby Davis and I went over there last week.
Is your microphone on? Yeah.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Am I on?
That's better.
Bobby and I went over to the park yesterday last week, and what you look at from the aerial view is definitely a lot different than being out in the park. So we did some changing where the map that was passed out or that we talked about, we're going to, at this point, plan on the tents being between the two volleyball courts, because that's the flat area. The other area that we were thinking of putting the beer tent at has a little gully in there where water runs through. So we thought that would be an unsafe area, definitely, with or without beer. And so we're going to move the beer tent between the volleyball courts. The stage will be on the east side, and that would be, or at least at this planning part stage. That would bring us closer to the service building there, where electricity and water would be if they need. We talked about relocating the bounce houses. That would be, I'm trying to figure my map here. The bounce house is next to the volleyball court, yet far enough away where the sand and stuff won't be dragged into the bounce houses. The porta potties will be either right near the parking lot or next to the stage area. So we have a lot of options here. Excuse me. And then the food trucks will either be between the Midwest parking lot, like there's a little area that maybe right there. That would be off of the Midwest parking area would be an entrance to the tent, and then right off to the side we're thinking of putting the food trucks right there. And right now, we have Pascal's committed, and then we'll talk about Welch's. Helicopter is kind of up in the air right now. Oh,
That was a pun.
But the helicopter, we need to reconfigure the area if we are going to get the helicopter, because it can't be in that area that we had thought originally, and then it needs to be away from the tent and the bounce houses. So we need to readjust that area. But so we have all the puzzle pieces floating around. We just don't.
All right, now did he, let's talk about electricity. What did he say about all that?
Bobby said that he could tap into the electricity there.
And do we know how many lines we need at this point?
We do not know at this point. Right now, it'd be the band and the lights for the band, and then
Lights for tent, maybe?
for the tent, yes. Yeah, the band, yeah. Well, you know what, we didn't discuss lights inside the tent. Another question there.
That's right, lights in front of the tent.
But I do have them. I have them.
You do have them,
You
huh?
can use my lights.
I knew that.
Great.
Who knew that, right? There you go.
We knew you had it covered.
Even better.
Okay.
But I mean, we need a power source for it, obviously.
So Bobby said he can figure it out. We
Okay.
just need to let
All
him
right.
know what we need, and we're going to try to stay away from generators because of the noise that they create.
Yeah.
We will have generators for the inflatables, but that will be away from the beer tent and away from the band. So those 3 inflatables will run independently with their own generator, and then that won't interfere with anything else. The bounce houses, I think maybe we mentioned last week that we would get 2 bounce houses for the older kids, for the 6 to 12-year-olds, and then 1 bounce house for the 2 to 5-year-olds. So, you know, they
2 to
have their-
5?
Yeah, 2 to 5. So they have their own area to play in.
Okay. Volunteers to supervise.
Okay, we haven't gotten that far yet. On the agenda, the water bill that we were going to send out, we were going to have that little space on the bottom of the flyer that
Yeah.
says volunteers welcome. And then we also have that on the bottom of the sponsorship one.
And we're going to identify them by the shirts, possibly, the T-shirts at the bank is, okay?
So can I have a question on that
Yeah.
for volunteers? If you're looking for more, would it be okay or to ask some of the churches? You know, I know some of the churches like to get involved. Ask if they
Absolutely.
kind of, go into their pool of volunteers. They may be excited to participate.
Yeah.
I can do that.
It's a great idea, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Suncrest,
Now,
St. John,
Here, I've brought this up in many years before you came around, Mike, but that's where, if we had a ministerial association for the town, and all the churches were in the loop on this, you'd send out an email, and we could get them to tap in, the pastors and the priests, and,
Yeah.
that would be kind of nice if we could create something like that down the road, but very good point. I mean, you got a lot of opportunities there, so.
So how would you like me to move forward on that? Or is there a
Well,
specific church you want?
Every church in town, if you want to, right?
I would think the church I attend, Suncrest, would be more than likely willing to provide or at least
Yep.
access to volunteers. I'm sure, I'd be certain that,
Sure.
certain that St. John would be, and
Yep.
villages, and there's.
I think our only conflict might be St. John's Fest is literally the following week, and they're going to be looking for their own sets of volunteers. So there could be a little conflict, not a conflict of
You could
interest.
throw
but
it
just-
out there, but you're right.
Just a
You're right.
conflict. Hey, I'm working next week, and you want me to work this week too?
Yeah, but
Right.
you only got to work 1 day here.
This is
And
true.
you get a fireworks display.
This is true.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and they get a show.
Well, at least ask them, and you don't want to overburden them.
No, no.
Without a doubt.
Right.
No, because if you left them out, then they would feel.
That's right.
Oh, look at how
You don't want to do that either.
Exactly.
So
And we certainly don't mean that, right? We would welcome the help.
All inclusive.
What's that, Cindy?
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike. No, that was my question. I don't want to not include somebody. I either want to,
Yeah.
like how I'd have a contact list to all the churches or.
And Jason could provide that for you here, too? Right?
I don't want
Yes.
anybody left
Yes.
out or.
Yeah, maybe you can coordinate with Jason, and we can contact the churches. That'd be great.
Great, thank you.
I think that's going to be a key thing, because if we don't have enough help, but we could have a lot of trouble.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
But I'm sure people are going to want to step up, so. Okay, sponsorships, we are getting some funds into the, and we have to make sure, like you said, Joe, earmark it for Summerfest, so my request would be from the committee is that at least once a month, if we can have a total from the clerk by request now on how much has come in, and if the ladies are, the girls, they've got wonderful lists here, as you can see,
I don't
and
know if once a month is enough.
not enough?
I don't think so, right? Because we only have,
Yep, I mean,
I think if you got an email thread, you could probably have a weekly update.
Sure,
like,
just-
like by Friday or something like that. You know, just know what happened, what came in during the week.
it's,
idea.
it's up for the ladies are in charge of that, so.
Well, I would think that, and we could have a conversation with Beth on this, but I think we could, as those sponsorships actually come in, you know, that could just be sent over as an email attachment.
That would be great.
Yeah. So I'll have that conversation with her either tonight or tomorrow, whenever we get
And
together.
I did get an email from her
Yeah.
recently that whatever's good for the town, she wants to make it happen too.
Yeah.
So that,
We
that's,
want to send a thank you letter. I mean, if somebody's
Yeah.
generous, we want to say
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
yes,
So on sponsorships, we've pulled from the town website a list of all of the businesses in town. Before doing a mass reach out, we wanted to confirm with this group, does anybody have personal connections? Is there anybody not on this list that should be? We already established that. DeYoung is not on this list.
they're kicking me out.
Who is it?
They're kicking me out.
Who is that under?
I'm not on.
Oh, who's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, who is
I
that
don't
guy?
know.
Kind of funny.
But before we started doing a mass reach
Recently
out.
deleted
On my way out,
furniture.
folks. That's how you find out. I'm not on the list.
so Jason, do you know when that town list was last updated?
It should be updated nightly. It's an
Oh.
automated process.
Did you pay your business license fee?
That is actually the source data.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know, it's, maybe it was a misprint. Huh? Hopefully.
I will also double check the automation.
I'm going to let the residents know I'm going to keep trying harder to do better.
Sure.
But if this group could look through the list and let us
Yeah.
know if there's either conversations that you've already had, like I said, if you have personal connections, probably a better way to reach out, and if there's anybody missing from this list, and then we can start kind of the mass
Is this
reaching out.
interactive? We can just go in and add to it?
It is. It's a Google Doc. Yep.
Okay.
We can resend that link.
Thank you.
And I didn't see on here, Emily, Redwood Landscaping, they already sent a confirmation, I don't know if you got that they were going to donate.
I did see
It's
that.
it's on here.
It is on here?
It's the third one down on the front.
Oh, and, okay, I was just.
It's
looking
not
at
in
the-
alphabetical order. I pulled up a
Okay.
few of the most of them are in alphabetical order, but I pulled up a few of the ones that
John got
Oh, I
that.
see.
that we knew.
John got that one.
Yeah.
And I think forms were, did anybody go to chamber today?
I
Anybody?
did for a minute.
Did they say any, were you there during the minute that they were going to talk about this?
No.
Okay.
I was not.
Well, hopefully it was mentioned, but they had sponsorship forms to pass out there today.
Okay, good.
Wonderful.
And they're going to do an email blast.
Good.
Nice.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Chamber.
Next, just so you know, next month it's at Briar Ridge. So if you guys want to attend that, yeah.
Good. Advertising, we've, how much is our budget for this advertising? Do we know?
How much money did we raise so far?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you have an idea what is, what's appropriate? What will get our most bang for our buck?
And I think we'll probably be talking about this tonight at the council, how much, they've got an appetite for the total event budget.
Advertising, we're doing flyers, which shouldn't be that expensive. Website, Facebook won't be expensive. We've reached all the businesses with the sponsorship letter, so that's already out. Should reach everybody. We talked about doing those like garage sale kind of signs. That Scott, we can talk more about, the price of those, but we talked about that in town. But I think that's really our main resources for advertising. Any other suggestions?
How about like Facebook ads? Would we do Facebook ads? Or what do you think of those?
Well, I think once we establish our time frame and the events, we need to get it out to the public on what's happening at what time. I think it's important for families to plan and find out from Midwest their time frame too, their slot. I gave the ladies email for that contact over there, but that's going to dictate a lot too when the food trucks are coming, so that we have to have a menu of services there. So.
Yeah, and I think if we took a look at, instead of doing the smaller yard signs, maybe doing several larger ones, putting those in at different areas throughout town, maybe doing a 4x4 sign versus a 4x8, which might be overkill. Mm-hmm. But doing several of those signs, putting them on, throughout the different high traffic areas, and then maybe doing some of the smaller signs throughout the rest of the area. But I know with the farmers market signs, they've done those. They've contracted that out through. I think it was through R&B that did the printing on those. But obviously, if there's cheaper sources to get it done, let's do that.
And could you now put on Facebook July 3rd, 2 to 9 or 3 to 9? I'm not sure what we settled
3 to
on,
10.
but 3 to
3 to
10.
10.
Yeah.
3 to 10, okay.
Yeah,
Couldn't you
great,
say that
that's
now and more details to come as we finalize the day's
Yeah.
events, at least to get it out there?
You put the big ticket items on there already, right? So 2 bands, fireworks, right?
Yep.
Food and kids events,
Beer.
Yep.
right? Beer, yeah, beer.
Beer's a good one. Beer's a good one. Brings people
Your
out.
project, they're not going to expect that. We should definitely put that on.
Well,
there.
and
They haven't
while we're
done
on
that
it, did we get a confirmation from Malt Brothers on that?
Yes.
Okay, so, we could even advertise that, and they could push that as well.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a basic agenda prepared for this month with just that general information, and then next month to detail it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we could put the Malt Brothers and Welch's on there, then we're good to go.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, sooner versus later, right? Why wait?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about tables and seating? We're having
All right,
fair
here's
time on that?
well, here's I talked to the people at the Lake County Fairgrounds, and there is a event at the fairgrounds that holiday weekend. The person I talked to couldn't bring it up on what that event is, didn't know to what extent that would require the table. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me on that. But I basically put in a 50 table request because I figure we're going to probably need, I'm guessing 20 to 30 underneath the tent in some fashion, and at least 20 outside, still yet in the alcohol area, so people can sit and have their lunch or whatever.
And I'm
some
sure
people,
they'll bring lawn chairs.
well, but some people will enjoy the weather outside, and some will say, "Hey, find me some shade." So I think we have to be prepared for both. So that's how I presented it. They do have trailers capable of hauling stuff around, but they're not sure that it's more or less for hauling around the Lake County Fairgrounds as opposed to literally
Town to town.
So there's some logistic things to work out, but we're on the right track.
And Bob Davis did say we had about 50 tables throughout town. They're going to start moving that over there
Okay.
that week of,
Okay.
not the day before, but the week of.
Okay.
Because it's going to take some time for them to get the
absolutely.
logistics on that
Okay.
figured out.
Well, that was my next question. How many? I wasn't quite
Yeah,
sure.
we've got about 50
Okay.
throughout town is what he
Okay.
was saying. So he'll get those kind of move that way that week.
That
so
might,
way-
that might actually be enough.
Yeah, and I think we'll be okay with that. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
I think that looks good.
I got the email from you, Joe, about the parking situation that may have to be moved.
it's definitely got to be modified. So
Okay.
the owner of the property that's just south of the ice arena is trying to accommodate our situation, but he has an obligation for part of his property where they're going to, whatever they do, they bale hay or whatever. So that's what he's going to be doing. So someone's already kind of got the rights on that. So he is going to carve a path so that way we can get to the back end of the south end of the property. And he's going to kind of mow out maybe 100 or so feet so you have some seating up on that area. But, they're trying to be respectful to the guy that he has engaged with the contract. So we're going to get all that figured out hopefully this week and then finalized. As a contingency plan, I did reach out to the property owner on the north end of the parks, which is north of the ball fields. So far they've been receptive, but we got to go up to, it's a corporate thing, so.
Sure.
Well, in talking to Tyler before he left, before you came on, we discussed that park on the east side of White Oak in the event for parking, not for anything else, but
Oh, okay.
but strictly for parking.
Yeah.
Because that's where they did park some cars last year.
Yeah.
He said, there again, weather dictates whether that's
If
that's
it's
a
a
happen.
mud fest or not.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
So I mean,
that's-
and that's something that if we do have a situation where we've had overflow parking.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's something we could have the police officers direct them that way. Logistically getting out of it, they've got everything figured out. The police department's been, had this kind of figured out from last year and what not to do and what to do. So everyone leaving out of there is going to be going north. No one's going south, just so you know.
Question then.
Except me, I'm going south. I'm just
You're
kidding.
going south, okay.
Just kidding.
Funding for the grant, is that, they had some stipulations there that they can or cannot do that for the county level to donate for fireworks?
Oh, are you talking about the South Shore Committee?
Yeah,
They're the
South
ones that
Shore.
gave us the grant last year. So
Yeah.
the one they had last year is not the same for this year. It's different.
Okay.
When I talked to them a couple of weeks ago, it was much more of an overall grant that sounded like it was going to be much more difficult for us to fit into. I'll talk to them again. I don't think that's likely this year, be able to get that grant like we did last year.
Can we put a letter together to actually send to the head of that, whoever does that?
We might as well try. That's a good idea.
Pardon me?
You got the contact information?
I do.
Yeah, do you want to send it out to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Yeah, if we can get that out.
Well, I think if they have the support of the council, and for that matter, if need be, we could talk to a few of our local representatives and maybe get their name synonymous with that. That's not going to hurt us either, as far as, from a political point of view, as far as
I agree. We might as well do it, and if if they say no, we'll have the same as we didn't try, so we might as well try.
It's only an ask, right?
Right.
correct.
So that,
idea.
who's going to compose that letter then?
Joe and I will do it, and we'll get it over them.
Yeah.
Good.
'Cause the only reason I was thinking that way is because I think some of our political contenders may or may be a part of that fest in a way of reaching a group of people that may or may not be voting.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's in their best interest to support something that
Right.
that they could use as a meet and greet.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay, very good. Scott, you want to go over the what you found here on these banners?
Yeah, I just met with Ron Foltman on Monday. I didn't know exactly what we would need, so I asked for just, some different sizes and what they might run. And so the smaller ones will probably need quite a few, so we priced them at 12. Maybe a thank you banner or a big stage banner. We want something bigger. So these are the prices. I wasn't sure about the T-shirts. I thought I saw an email, but I did get pricing just in case we needed it. His design fee is $55 an hour. He did say he'd be interested in sponsoring in some capacity, maybe donating time or,
Sure.
some of his service. So
Time, talent.
I guess that my question would be, what's the lead time to get this done so he can facilitate signs?
I don't think it's, I'll have to clarify or, get that from him. I wasn't under the impression it was probably more than a week or 2 weeks, but I'll get with him.
Yeah, we should ask that because I don't want us to say, oh, we got a big order and we needed 2 weeks.
Right.
So, all right, so you don't mind asking that, right?
Nope.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, do you have any idea what, like, them political small little yard signs cost?
The cheap ones are,
$3-4 a piece.
yeah, the cheap bag ones are like $3, $2.98, depending on how many you buy, and then
Okay.
you could spend $8 on a nice one. So,
Well, but I'm just thinking, would 100 of them periodically around the town be a good idea? I mean, just announcing what we're trying to do and the date?
you probably don't need 100, but yeah.
Well, but I'm
I think
just-
it's a good
I'm-
idea. Yeah, I
I'm-
agree, yeah.
I mean, they're small. I mean, they can fit on street corners and,
Might order 20 of them for,
And at the baseball
$100,
fields
$200,
and at
yeah.
the
Probably a
ice
good idea.
rink, people going in and out.
correct. I mean, just in the high traffic areas where they're gonna, I mean, that's what St. John, does with for their fest too. I mean, they're all over, all the people that are part of the parish got them in their yards. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't care how many, but I mean, I think,
It just
50,
creates a buzz, yeah.
50, I think if you took, all the important intersections into town. I mean, our town is kind of, for lack of a better word, it's not real squared out. It's kind of,
Spread out.
it kind of goes this direction
It
and that
does.
direction.
It does.
But I mean, if we got them at some of the main corners, I think it only helps us.
First year particularly.
Maybe what we do, if it's okay with the committee, maybe we should get on order on some of those signs sooner versus later, and then we could have like central area where we can all give them to our friends and then pop them up, and we can have Public Works pop them up as well.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think
You want me to get a price for
Yes,
those?
yes,
wouldn't
please,
mind.
yeah.
I think in the long run, if the Public Works puts them up, you're not going to catch any grief. But I mean, it's not like the people that want to, in the middle of the night, staple their garage sale signs to the telephone poles.
How many would we?
Quick question for Joe then, to fund that idea, and then we should do it sooner versus later, because time is of the essence. Is that something we can do with the money that was just donated, because we have some funds that came in?
We do have funds, but I don't know what the total is yet.
Or can could we?
I know we got about
ask the council to
$1,500.
direct
We
us
just
to
need,
fund?
we need to, how much do we want to spend on this? That's.
I think, well, if you're talking, let's say $5 a piece, and we got 50 of them, that's $250. I mean, is that?
That's in there.
But I'm talking in totality, not just, we need to
Oh,
wrap our head around.
a marketing budget and.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so that comes back, right? So if for ordering the bigger signs and the small signs,
Right.
and maybe even incorporating some Facebook ads, which are fairly inexpensive, what do you think? a
All right,
proper
well, what are
budget
we
would be?
doing, these banners, so I'm straight, they're just gonna be sponsorship banners, correct? Or are they going to be signs for the actual fest? I mean, I was under the impression we were gonna put some of our platinum gold sponsors on the banner saying, thanks to so-and-so, so-and-so, and basically throwing a bunch of them. And more or less, they could be at the actual fest that week. And you know what I'm saying? Would you need more than half a dozen?
No, not if you can facilitate it and get them on the sign.
Right. I mean,
Because a lot of people will turn in their money late,
right. Well, I know.
last minute.
Right. And that's the hard part about it.
So in our sponsorship letter, I think we put a date on there.
A deadline date?
Yeah, deadline date, so we'd have enough time to get their logo and then be able to put it onto the banner.
Okay.
That's May 31st,
So that's the end of the month.
Yeah.
and we still have contacts to make.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
we can
So-
extend that. It depends on, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
go
off.
ahead.
I
You
think
know,
we need to know from these guys what their
Turnaround time is?
cutoff date would be.
But we put May 31st because people that donate take a long time to get their logo to us.
Correct.
So we would still accept it later.
Well, but I mean, at the end of the day, it might be a logo, but even name recognition, DeYoung and Sons Furniture, even if John's logo isn't part of that, you know what I'm saying? Just
That's fine.
Just the idea of the name is, thanks to our sponsors, this, and this. And I mean, I've been to enough events where a 4x12 sign could fit 25, 30 different names on it in reasonably decent viewable print. So.
Yeah, and that is something in the sponsorship level, the sponsorship letter, the different levels. We called out for the higher sponsorship levels, they get primary placement
Absolutely.
on the sign, for the lower. So it is something, though, that they would be expecting as part of being
Correct.
a sponsor, as part of.
Correct. Well, I think we have to. I mean, if we're going to promote our local businesses, then
Absolutely.
we have to do what we have to do.
Right, that's right.
So, Scott, when you're talking to them about signs, when we were first had just a mini discussion about like the garage sale type signs, we talked about asking them about a generic sign that would just be like, St. John Freedom Fest with the logo, and then you can put a sticker on it that would say the date and location and things, where that sticker can be removed and used again. Just an option.
Okay.
I've done that in the past where you wouldn't have like 400 signs laying around. You can kind of change them. So you might want to ask if they have an option to put a sticker on the signs. And then however we decide on the signs that we want to put around town, also those garage sale type signs, we need 24 that are specifically designated to like in the beer tent, 21 and older, family area. So I have a list actually on the sheet that I passed
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Suggestions on what we need to post right at the event, like where emergency or first aid will be, where lost parents will be. So those would be in addition to the other signs that we want to order.
Okay.
See that? You got a copy of that?
So maybe a
I
budget
do.
of
I do.
3,000 for something signs, I mean, not to exceed.
That makes sense.
I don't think it would exceed that. If we do signs that we want to use
definitely
again, with the
garage sale
removable
signs that are
sticker,
no alcohol,
we probably will
Yeah.
compare prices on them. If they're cheap enough to just get rid of them, you might want to do that. But if they're, because they are printed and they're uncorrugated and they're, not, coating on them and things, those might run a little bit more.
Yeah, if we could.
What about the signs that you get, like the yard signs, that you have the plastic window on and you drop the piece of paper in and you print on the paper? Then you can always take the sign up and
That's not a bad idea as well.
I've seen it at golf outings before. I mean, where they take
Cheaper.
the sponsor out and put the new one back in. And
Right.
Okay.
It's cheaper.
Yep.
If we could kind of wrap our hands around how much we're talking total expenses, tent, porta potties, all that stuff, from nuts to bolts, I would like to get a confirmation from the council so that way they can appropriate the funds by the end of the month. I want to get a consensus on moving forward with, getting the contracts and everything signed before that end of the month council meeting in 2 weeks. So if we can kind of get our hands around how much we're talking or tighten this down so that way we can get the appropriation approved by the council for in 2 weeks. And I think,
Well, we kind of know fireworks are 25, right?
right, and I think those
That's
are,
approved,
those
right?
are already
Okay.
approved,
Those are
yeah.
already through, so no, don't count.
In my opinion, based on what we talked about for tents and some of the numbers here for porta potties and some of the other expenses here that I see up front, and marketing and everything else, does 25 more cover it for everything?
I'm thinking 25 to 30 at the most, I would think.
Yeah, with the bands and everything else too,
Right, well, that's,
yeah.
I guess if you had to give a generic number, I'd say 50 to 60,000 for everything. If you wanted to throw a number out there.
Whatever we appropriate, we've got to, have either an offsetting revenue source, that's the other
Do you
thing.
agree?
Could you,
Yeah,
could you-
let's,
could you do a spreadsheet on those costs for
Yeah,
just, for
Joe,
their
do you
nailed
need that
down?
for a meeting this week?
In 2
or
weeks,
Huh?
in 2
All right,
weeks.
so,
So I want to make sure we've got the
We're
money
meeting in 2
appropriated
weeks,
for it.
right?
we're, yeah, we've got our meeting on the 27th, so if we can get a menu of services, what our expenses are, we can go over that. We'll have some information on the signs, and let's not just throw a big number out there, because people will get upset about that.
Right.
Let's-
That's right.
Let's try to get a little more
I want to get it
realistic
tighter if we can.
of a budget. And if we do that, then we're doing due diligence too, so that.
I mean,
let's-
if the number's really going to be 15, let's say it's 15, but let's kind of, get our
Right.
hands around
Show
that.
where we have, yep.
So
Let's make sure we itemize it.
I appreciate everybody's doing a different part here.
Yeah.
So if you can email me what your guesstimate is of who you're talking to and
Yep.
signs and that, and then I
Then
can
we
do
should put
that.
that into a spreadsheet and kind of,
Yep, I can add that into the spreadsheet and then share it with everybody.
Wonderful. Now, well, going to some more expense then, Cindy, what about the glow sticks and the trinkets and all that, you have a sheet here of what those items cost, and I think that would be great for the 4th of July.
We, Anastasia created an account with us for Fun Express. That's the commercial version of Oriental Trader. So you get the, better deal. And I was on there, I'm thinking for around $300, $300 to $400, we can get a whole bunch of little trinkets for the kids. It's a decision if we want to make, if we want to try selling that, or just, be nice and pass it out to the kids. Whatever, but it's like, like red, white, and blue beads and little bouncy things on your head and sunglasses and stuff. So we can decide what we want to do with that. But they're adults and children like that. So we
But
can
if you
probably
charge $1 or $2 for some of that, I mean, the parents and the grandparents would do that for the kids,
Yep.
and it's fun, and it also identifies a little one running
Yeah,
around
they
with
love
the
that stuff.
glow stick, yeah.
So we just need a volunteer to sell that. But
Well, like
If it
Mike
gets
said,
late
the
in
church
day.
group, maybe,
Sure, and it gets late in the day, we'll start giving it away.
yeah.
there you
Early on,
go.
we'll sell.
Yeah, so they, like I said, they have for the day, they have sunglasses, they have little, those little bouncy things on your head.
Right.
And then at night, they have the glow sticks, the glow necklaces and the bracelets.
How fun is it? Yeah, that's perfect then. Also, I would make a suggestion on what we should buy of those items. So then that can be approved too at the same time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
'cause I mean, it's,
do you want me to do the shopping on there, send you all a copy of what I'm thinking?
do it.
Then we could approve it from there?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
We started this talking about Fun Express last week or so because a lot of those items are already sold out. With Memorial Day and 4th of July, a lot of the patriotic things are gone already, so.
All right. We should jump on that then.
Better get on it.
It's a small amount of money, so. The one thing I would say about the contract for the tent is that you didn't sign it yet, Joe?
No, we're going to be talking about that tonight. Just
Okay,
kinda
and
following up on
the,
that. We got to get
it's got to
consensus
be
from the
town
council.
of St. John.
Correct, yeah,
And
so-
then the delivery address is not correct. Where the tent, they had it here, delivery address right here at Town Hall.
Yeah.
Didn't we update
That wouldn't be a good thing.
No,
Did we update that? I'm
But-
sorry, John, I don't mean to cut you off. I think we,
Yeah, but the tent people have to get it correct, because I got the
it
contract.
has the wrong day too, so.
yeah,
There's a lot of wrong information there.
Right.
yeah, we
You got that, right? Joe?
follow.
I think Anastasia was working on getting that updated, wasn't she?
Pardon?
Was Anastasia working on getting that updated?
Yeah, I think I gave it to Anastasia last week.
Okay.
So we can, because we update the location where it's being dropped off. We needed to change it to Town of St. John and the date.
And they will put it up early and pick it up after.
Well, that was part of the discussion that we had.
Yeah.
Public Works would like it to come a little earlier. They would
Sure.
like the tent to come Thursday if they can, so we could get the picnic tables and everything over there. It depends if they're going to charge us for those extra days.
I don't think so.
They
So,
won't. They won't.
Per John?
For me,
Okay.
they won't.
But
There
that was
wo-
one of the
Let's just put
questions.
it this way, there won't be an extra charge.
Okay, gotcha. We'll update.
I know
that, though.
people.
We'll update.
No, it'll be covered. But they're very accommodating. I mean,
So that is the desires to have them come Thursday,
Yep.
set up the tent, set the sage up, then that gives Public Works all day Friday
yeah,
to
and
bring
they
the
have so
tables
many to put
over.
up the company that they're going to want to do that too. So.
Okay, great.
Because I've ordered mine for August from these folks too, so. All right.
Thank you.
Nice job this, holy cow, we are really moving along here. Contracts are signed, Cindy? Yes or no?
Band contracts will be approved tonight, right, Joe? They're turned in.
Okay,
They're going to be presented, but they'll probably be approved at the meeting in 2 weeks.
Got it,
Okay.
okay. So we have both Gerhart, 3 to 5:30-ish. Little Giant 6:30-ish to last call. Given that kind of break in between of, this takedown and the setup,
What's the other band's name?
Little Giant. And then,
So you're thinking them from like 3 to 5:30?
pardon?
From the
Yes.
start, 3 to 5:30? Okay.
Yep, 3 to 5:30. Have
An
that-
hour break to take down and redo, and then Gearhart sometime around 6:30 to 7?
The opposite, Gearhart first.
Oh, Gearhart's first,
and-
okay.
And Little
Gotcha.
Giant next.
Gotcha.
And both bands are aware that there's another band.
Okay.
So they need to, kick it into breakdown and set up.
And you think 6:30 to what?
I think we put
7:30?
9:30, what,
9:30?
The fireworks are going to probably start shortly, like I said, shortly around that time, so.
9? Yeah, okay.
And we requested, or I requested, hope everybody agrees, for the band, it'd be a recording, but the last 15 minutes of their show would be the tribute to the military, the different branches of service, the Navy, Air Force, Marine songs to be played
Beautiful.
right before fireworks.
Beautiful.
Is that
And yeah,
okay?
we actually don't need to have the council's approval on these because they're under the threshold, so we can just go ahead and get that. If this is the pleasure of the,
Yep.
the board, and then we'll get the consensus from the town council tonight on that, just so they know what's going on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good with everybody?
Great.
Perfect.
Yeah, we have to make decisions, so we got to get it done.
Yeah.
So. That's all we got tonight. Anybody else?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
So for the T-shirts, how many are we thinking? I thought someone threw out like 100, but how many volunteer shirts do you think we need to order?
I would hope we have that many volunteers and stuff, so I would think we wouldn't order more than 100.
Okay.
And I would keep them evergreen. Don't put a date on them.
So just make sure everybody's okay with this. So the front would have the Fest logo on it. Who can send me that? Jason? No, Joe?
Yeah, you're going to do it like in just all white? Is that the,
Well, I was thinking of getting whatever everyone wants, but I was thinking of a bright shirt so people could identify.
yeah, well, you're buying them, so yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
whatever we agree, whatever color we want. Yes.
You're buying them.
So the Fest logo on the front,
Yeah.
and then on the back, we would put event team, and then we'd put T-shirts sponsored by People's Bank and our logo on the
Nice.
back.
Yeah.
So are we good?
I like it, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and just a quick update with Malt Brothers and Welch's. They were having a meeting last night for them to kind of coordinate what they're going to do and how they were going to do it. I'm sure there's going to be a little tweaking to that. I had given them my suggestions, but I wasn't going to tell them exactly what I felt we needed to do. So that was our wishes as a group were passed on, and I did email you guys as far as the deal that we had kind of worked out with them. So I'm satisfied with that. They will staff it. So I mean, that's not going to be at any volunteer issues with our biggest thing is going to be, part of the cleanup, because we know that that's going to be
Right.
part of. And what I think we'll do is I'll get together with Welch's and I'll figure out something in a way that we can reward our volunteers with stopping by Welch's and getting a hamburger or getting something that we can provide for them. I'll take care of that, so I'll donate that so we can have that done
You're talking during the day of
during the day,
festival?
right? If they, depending on when they're volunteering or whatever, I mean, at some point in time, if you're there for 3, 4, 5 hours, you're going to get hungry.
Right.
So, I mean, if we can reward them volunteers with at least a meal, which I feel is a small price to pay, so that's and obviously if they're in their volunteer event shirts, it's going to be very easy to determine who gets what.
If you, let me know if you want me to get like food tickets for that.
I think,
Okay.
why don't you just go ahead?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, to me, the shirt would probably be a giveaway, but there's going to be, well, I'll call it our staff or maybe Public Works people or something along, whoever else is volunteering. I don't care. But, I'll make sure that there's enough food there that whether it's the first responders or the cops or the parking lot people or whatever, I'll take care of that so that we
That's
have,
awesome.
that we have that done so that there's no issue there. That way they get something out of the deal. But yeah, a food ticket probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And I would, like I say, they were gonna get together last night. It was a late meeting, so I have not contacted them to find out exactly, and like I said, I believe that that too will be tweaked as far as that goes. But yeah, we shouldn't have to worry about servers and anything like that.
Awesome. So when we were talking about the tent, we talked about the beer tent, and then the suggestion came up that Malt Brothers actually have their own tent area instead of them taking up space in
Inside
the
the
big
tent,
tent.
yeah.
Pardon?
I don't know that, I never asked them about their own tent, personally. I mean, if they have one, that's great, but I know Welch's have a couple of them little portable ones.
Yeah.
You know, that they're probably gonna use for nothing more than shade
Okay.
in the event that it's super hot. Now, the only question, and I did email you that too, is drinks. How are we dealing
Oh,
with that?
yeah.
That was the one thing as far as non-alcoholic drinks.
Well, does Welch's have soft drinks or no?
They really aren't a soft drink.
Okay, all right, so we need to figure that out on our
Whether,
own. It's a
exactly, whether or not we get that and we let them deal with that, or, you know, if the food trucks are going to have some sort of a, selling their own water,
Food
pop.
trucks are looking rough, Dave.
are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Monica, who I've been talking back and forth with, has maybe not seen my last couple emails or texts, so I haven't heard back from her. So right now, it's just Welch's and Pascal's.
Okay. Totally agree with that. That we know we can count on.
Yes.
Okay. Because, yeah, that, they need to know that so they know how to prepare for what could be 500,000, 1,500 people.
Cindy, can you repeat that? You said Welch's and Pascal's, and was there another?
Now, the other place maybe didn't see my emails. They haven't responded.
So
And
we
we're-
just have two for,
So two right now, yes, sir.
So are those ones Rob had suggested?
Yes.
Okay,
We're a little late in the game.
yeah.
And then the one that I thought we had a confirmation is who I don't think saw my emails. Haven't heard back from her. But we'll work on soft drinks, whether or not we can have our own little tent set up that maybe volunteers could sell pop and water. But that's a possibility maybe if Welch's doesn't want to deal with that.
Well,
It
I
would
mean,
probably be.
I think they sell water, but I mean, they're not really, they're not a grocery store in a
Right.
sense that, they're open flame grilling. I believe part of that would be drinks too, but to what extent, I don't know, because generally when they go to an event, they know they're dealing with 50 people or 100 people, not an arbitrary number that could be
Right.
crazy. And if it's hot, it could be really crazy.
Well, it'd probably be good for us in the tent area and in the park if we had a couple stations set up with the canopy just to sell water and pop.
I agree.
Right,
Sounds
people don't
great
want to wait
idea.
in line, they could just go and get the pop or something. Okay, we'll work on that.
I would also ask you to look at this contact list, and if there's people or friends you know, it's great to get the letter, but it's also nice when you get in front of their face too. So if you can do that, let the ladies know. They can mark say, hey,
Yeah, just keep us posted on who everybody's reaching out
Yep.
to, just so that
there's not
we're
a,
not hitting them up, multiple times.
yeah,
and-
they go, yeah,
Or you could just put it in there.
Yeah, or you could just put it in the doc.
so was there a link you said you emailed?
Yeah, I
'Cause-
can resend it to the
Okay.
group too.
all right.
Great.
Okay. A lot more work to do. Yeah,
I'm sorry, John, just wanted to add that we have a quote here from Premier Porta Potties. We're also waiting for another quote to come in. That, we're just supplying that. We'll turn in the Little Giant stuff. We already submitted the bounce houses, and now we have the tent.
but you're going to put that all together so we can let the council know in 2 weeks. And the event has been approved to do these things. but we need to just get that in our budget so we can let them know properly.
But does some of this have to be booked now, or else we're not going to have it?
Yeah, the porta potties, we need to do that ASAP.
We got to book it.
So you're looking at 5 right now, a handicap one and 4 regular?
Yes, 2 and 2. We believe that's enough.
And then the 2 washing stations also? I think that's going to be imperative too.
Yeah, and I was thinking it'd be nice to have a washing station near the tent, the family area. If those
Yep.
of us that have grandkids or little kids, that might be a nice extra thing to have there too.
We need to get that in the works. And
Okay, so we have the one quote, we'll have the other quote hopefully tomorrow. So it's approved to go ahead and do that? Get that done? Okay.
Yep.
I don't think we have a choice. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have the luxury to get 3 bids in and.
Next
But
year,
we're
right?
Yeah, right.
using, we don't have that time, but we are using local people, and they're kind to the town, so I'm glad of the good prices we got so far. All right, any other things? All right. Joe Barry.
No, nothing.
Ladies, Kelly?
No.
Emily?
No.
Just make sure everyone is feeding it to Emily and Kelly and Cindy, because they're keeping us on track. And thank you for your offer for Welch's,
yes, no
and
problem.
I'm grateful for that. Scott?
Nope.
No? Anything, boys? You want to say anything, Mike? No?
Thank you.
All right,
Say
well, thank you. I know everybody, we're getting double meetings here, but I appreciate the effort that the committee's doing, and I know the residents will too, so thank you. I'd like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved?
Second?
Second?
So moved. Meeting adjourned.